The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Tonight, a weekend that saw too much loss of life. It seemed soon after the police reported one fatal shooting, the notification in the police media group sounded again. Another man gunned down. What will it take to stop men from killing men and leaving behind a trail of trauma? We talk about it tonight. Also tonight, while it may appear exciting, the Bahamas' ecosystem is too vulnerable for any mistakes. I'm talking about the SpaceX program and that failed mission late last week that saw debris scattered across Bahamian waters. We hear of your concerns tonight. Also tonight, the F&M gives a peek into some of their aspirants and candidates. We take a look at them and give our thoughts. And former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis flexes his muscles in Killarney over the weekend with an event to mark International Women's Day. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, two murders just hours apart, claiming the lives of two young men and pushing the country's murder count to 16 for the year. As police wrapped up their investigation on Boyd Road, they were quickly called to the Kennedy subdivision where another man was gunned down. Linton Ritchie Jr. was on both scenes last night. He has the latest.
Two murders, some 4 hours apart, claiming the lives of two young men in their 20s. Both victims unofficially identified as Jaden Henfield, gunned down through Munson Village, and the second victim, only identified as Carlos, killed through Vernon Street. With officers still huddled feet away from where Henfield was gunned down, his cousin seemingly predicting the havoc gunmen unleashed on our streets last evening.
Nothing changes. This is just one of many. Sure, as we stand here tonight, tomorrow, God forbid, there'll be other families who are faced with the same issue.
Hours later, police say masked gunmen unfortunately sealed the fate of Carlos.
When officers arrived on scene, they discovered an adult male with an apparent gunshot wound to the upper body. EMS responded, examined, and found no signs of life.
Police reports reveal that those gunmen responsible for killing Carlos entered the yard asking for an individual, but the men responded, noting that the person was not at the home, which led to gunmen opening fire. Questions now loom on if Carlos was the intended target or was he caught in the crossfire. And with these fatal shootings marking two murders in one day, a first for the year, officers had this to say when questioned on a connection.
At this time, we cannot say that. We are, like you said, in the preliminary stage of the investigation.
Henfield's family describing him as a person who was driven and sent this message to his killers.
Hard-working individual, young man works 2 jobs. Senseless killing. Why can't there be a resolution besides killing?
A 41-year resident of Munson Village, noting that this is the first time she witnessed gun violence in what she described as her close community.
He just passed on the screen. He just moved to this area, I think, but a little over a year ago. He's a very nice, friendly young man.
Now, in both cases of yesterday's fatal shootings, police confirmed to media that both victims were in spaces that they considered to be safe. Here, at the residence of the first victim, you see bloodstains on the walls that he left behind as he was trying to escape his perpetrators, who police say ambushed him here right outside of his residence. And in the street, there is chalk marks outlining a circle figure, which crime scene investigators left behind, marking their evidence left behind by those gunmen. Now, in relation to that second fatal shooting that took place just before midnight, authorities revealed that that man, too, was also at a residence that he frequented when gunmen ambushed him and a crowd. And he's also a resident here in the Kennedy subdivision. Now, that shooting took place just steps away from a community park. And directly behind me, you see just how close the homes in this community are, which resembles a tight-knit relationship. So imagine, on a Sunday night, just before midnight, residents were expecting peace and tranquility. So to hear the sounds of gunshots ring out, here's what authorities are saying to the Bahamian public.
Well, the police force will do what they are mandated to do, which is to police the Bahamas as a whole. And so for the communities, know that, as I said, we are doing our walkabouts. We're engaging the communities. Our patrol units are out and saturating the streets. So we are visible out there.
These Sunday night killings mark the country's 14th and 15th murders for the year. Meantime, another man is fighting for his life following the Kennedy subdivision shooting. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
It's so concerning to hear the screams, the heart-wrenching screams of family members who lost loved ones in such gruesome, heinous ways. I don't know what we are going to do. Keep the teleprompter exactly where it is. I'm not reading. I don't know what it is that we're going to do, when we're going to do it, when we're going to get serious about crime, when we are going to send a very clear and decisive message so that all of that's going on, whether it's retribution, or the streets taking care of business, but maybe that's what it is, the streets being forced to take care of business. And we've talked about that so many times here on this show. We're going to jump right into the discussion this evening because you know, the bullets have no eyes. And so when men or people are gathered, as they are in communities like that, and hang out on the streets, and perpetrators just open fire, it is quite scary, isn't it? It's quite a very frightening thing to consider. We're going to jump right in there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, our contributors Leslie Miller and Ellington Ferguson. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. Quite a concerning weekend.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Thank you.
It's good to have you both here. You know, while we were watching the story, we were talking amongst ourselves about, listen, like, these are not random acts. But what makes it sort of random is, according to the report, if you go looking for an individual and don't find that individual, you just decide that you're going to just open fire on the group that's gathered. That's quite concerning to think about.
Shanique, the street life is a very unique life. And so when the guys show up looking there for the person, they've already got the call. He's home. He's there now. I saw him. So when they come and his boys cover for him and say, he ain't here, well, okay, then you all take this. That is basically street life, unfortunately. And so I say that to say this to family members. Number one, guys, you got to be careful who you associate with. I know you may not be doing certain things, but if your friend's involved in certain things and you have not even proof, but just an idea, you've got to separate yourself. Family members, you know your brothers or your uncle or cousin doing certain things, you've got to, number one, talk to them, try to get them to throw down those behaviors, drop those behaviors, distance themselves from those kind of activities. And if not, you're going to have to distance yourself from them, because when these guys come for retribution, they ain't checking for the baby there or Grammy there. Once they see the person there, they come and they're going to open fire. And so we've all got to take responsibility for this. The police is doing as much as they can do. They can only come after the fact. The police don't know that somebody is headed there to do something unless they call the police and tell them they're going there. And so the police coming after the fact. But all of us got to take responsibility and try to police our families. That's where it starts from. Policing our families, policing our communities. A lot of time we know things happening in these communities. We know things are brewing. The street guys could tell you immediately after these things happen who do this and who went back to get this. And because everybody knows, family members knows, friends knows, loved ones knows, we've got to begin to help ourselves. We've got to help the police to help us.
Leslie, you heard Ellington says we got to help the police to help us.
I think as the people, we were becoming numb to the violence
Extremely
That befalls
desensitized.
us just about every day of our lives. But you can see these are very young men, most of them under 30, on the manner in which they commit these crimes, these heinous crimes, with the taking of a life, and shows no inclination, no fear of the law,
value for life.
no fear of anything. It puts you into the state of what Colombia used to be in the 80s. But you know, they kill you for nothing. I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't understand why one life would have to be taken if there's any argument, if there's any ill feelings towards each other. I think we're all dumb now in society to figure out what is this all about. Except that every week we're losing about 3 to 5 young men.
And see, that's frightening too. I
the
mean,
families.
you know, let's just look at it socially. We already know it's about what, in terms of population count, it's about 51% female, say 49% men, right? When these men continue to be snuffed out, where are these women going to find husbands? I mean, where are children going to grow up with fathers? And it's leaving a void that we see is coming home to roost.
Absolutely.
And that is little boys growing up and little girls without that fatherly influence. And so they're growing up very angry, they're growing up cold, and the cycle
continues.
The cycle continues.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and we've got to find a way socially to look into this, Unique. We cannot just say throw our hands in the air and give up. Socially, we must deal with this. We must rescue this. We got to put desperate measures in place for desperate times. These are desperate times in the life of our nation.
It really is. It really is. And, you know, whatever the judicial system has to do to do their part, it must be done. You know, yeah, they're independent and there should be no influence and no interference, but there has to be laws passed that kind of address things like this. It's been happening too often. It's been happening too often and too brazen.
What is most amazing?
Yes.
9 out of 10 of them get caught. They know they're going to get caught. And they still do it. I mean,
They're back on the street.
It's
so remarkable. It gives you some insight into their mind, their mindset. Because I always say, a man has to think wrong before he does wrong, you know. You don't just automatically do things. You think about it first. So this thought process that goes through their mind that I'm going to kill him today. I'm going to take a life. And you know that your life is at stake again?
It's no regard. There is no regard.
It tells you what happened. You know the system in place. That I know if I take this life, mine is likely to be taken.
Exactly.
And that life is taken on the street because the streets knows that the courts or the government is not going to make that final call on them. So people just do what people do.
We have got to stop being left-leaning sympathizers and actually govern and rule and put laws in place. Come back to the middle where it's stern.
Just exercise the laws that are there.
Where it's stern. The laws are there. You know, stop this. Stop whatever this is. This little woke kind of, no, it's too inhumane, whatever. Inhumane, you heard the screams, the heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching screams in that report a moment ago.
That's every day.
Every day, every evening, unfortunately. You understand? Concerns regarding the government's dealings with SpaceX are escalating, with the public and stakeholders concerned and demanding answers about the potential environmental impact of the deal.
Which deal?
The same one with SpaceX.
So who won that deal?
I don't.
As Ministry of Tourism or who?
Tourism? What tourists coming in on the SpaceX?
Shanique, first of all, I think we're mixing up apples with oranges with our concerns over the recent accident that we saw went across the skies of the Bahamas. That is nothing. That is not the program with SpaceX that we're involved in. That is completely different.
Ellington, I don't care how you try to explain. You could sit there and try to explain. Matter of fact, get a notepad and read that book that you tried. Let me try to tell you. I don't care if it originated in Russia. When it comes here and disintegrated and affects when you could go fishing and try to sell your fish and what we eat, and then whatever that toxic fumes and stuff in the ocean and maybe the ecosystem and the shoreline and the rest of it, or maybe even on land, that's the issue.
Well, that's some of the problem that we're suffering now from the Ortec Beach and Andres.
See, that's the issue.
Again, putting it in the context, if we stop the program that we're doing Exuma now, right now.
What program is that?
The SpaceX program.
The landing of the ship.
We're only landing.
Yeah, what happens if we stop?
If you stop it, There's going to be rockets launched from Texas, where this one came from. There's going to be rockets launched from Cape Canaveral. So that threat
still has the potential
exists.
to
So in the absence of lambasting the program in Exuma, maybe we need to have a broader discussion about space programs.
Do you think it will be? But that's what we need.
We can't think about it anyhow.
But yeah,
not like you want to stop the US from everywhere.
If enough people speak out, and I don't mean just the Bahamas. However, the point is still, it doesn't lessen the concern. We get the story from Laurencia Smith, and then we come back and talk.
Meanwhile, public reaction on Eyewitness News social media page expressed concerns that this agreement is just another financial benefit aimed to line the pockets of politicians. One viewer said, y'all need to cancel this little experiment. Obviously, this is not making any sense. It's dangerous. WTH. All of this for $1 million? Another, the love of money is the root of all evil. And another viewer stated in a post, well, at this point, we now have sold our souls and campaign money is on the ground. However, government officials continue to defend the agreement, stating that it's strictly a control arrangement with environmental safeguards in place. The Ministry of Environment has reassured the public that there is no immediate threat to the local communities and that the Falcon 9 launch follow international safety protocols. Eyewitness News spoke with environmentalist Joseph Joe Dovell on Monday afternoon. He raised concerns, stating that any impact affecting Bahamians should be handled directly by the people and not left in the hands of policymakers.
Whatever accord has been made between our government and SpaceX and has to be made fully and clearly to the Bahamian people. We are a sovereign nation, and if our government is going to entertain any approach coming from anything to do with anything that may have impact upon our ocean or our land, then it should not be just a committee by Parliament or not just one member of Parliament. It should be the referendum. It should be the consensus of the Bahamian people.
Dovell has been very vocal about the potential environmental harm on the country.
Parliament and discussed in Parliament, and then get the opinion generally of the Bahamian people. This is something to fool around with our little nation. We have an abundance of ocean. We have like 100,000 square miles of ocean, and only 6,200 square miles of land. And we're losing that dramatically every year due to climate change, the sea level rise. And so we're becoming a sea nation, a water nation. And therefore, everything should be done to protect the entity of that. We have the...
On February 18, SpaceX made history by successfully launching its Falcon 9 first stage rocket between the waters of Exuma and Eleuthera. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Leslie and Ellington, the concerns are real. Whether or not it's just a little overreaction on our part, well, that's the thing, though. Stop giving people so much to speculate on and be fearful of. We know that we have these 700 islands. How much inhabited now? 17, 18 inhabited. Rocks and keys. And we've got to protect them. We know the importance of the ecosystem, the mangroves, the this, the that, our ocean that feeds us. We know the importance of preserving these things. And so therefore, the questions are right. The environmentalists are right to have questions. Your thoughts?
Shanique, I listen thoroughly to, I forgot her first name, but she's Bo, a Bahamian that's involved in space program.
You're the center of it.
And she was here. She was on the radio, and she was discussing the program and all of the possibilities and the dangers. She was talking about it on the radio, and I felt satisfied with what she said. I think...
What she said?
You haven't heard from her at all since the debris. Not a word.
Yeah, what she said.
No. Well, I don't think it's in her purview to speak to things like that. She spoke to the program that we are doing in Exuma. She spoke extensively.
Miss talked to the fact that the grouper you eat is now could possibly assure us that the grouper and the snapper and whatever else it is, the lobster, all that stuff is not compromised in terms of the health quality of it. My God, we were told one time ago, recently, seafood is the best thing to eat. Now with that, you saw that gas or fumes or whatever it is, if that going in the ocean and other leakages and all this stuff, we need to know.
The people have the right to know. I mean, listen.
But absolutely, I think the people have a right to know. Hopefully the government would come and speak to it again. Obviously what they have done a few weeks ago is not sufficient. But those things, for the most part, they self-explode and self-destruct.
I know about all that. I tell you here, these glossy words dissipate.
Prior to hitting the water, that's why you see the level of burning through the atmosphere. And that's why you can see
so there's no leakage, there's no potential impact in terms of quality and safety of food in the ocean to the sea life.
I'm sure if something goes directly into the sea, yes, in that immediate area, it will be affected.
It went directly into the sea.
But it burns through the air before coming down into the atmosphere. In any event,
representatives from SpaceX as well as the Ministry of Environment, who has been very quiet, come speak to the Bahamian people. You all just going out there in Auckland and swimming. You all even could dive and swim on that level. Come talk to the Bahamian people and give us assurances. But apparently they are in Auckland is one of the islands where they are, and they are scanning the ocean and the land and the waterfront, for debris of that failed launch late Thursday. I thank you all. Listen to me. Don't go anywhere though. No, wait. I ain't thanking you all yet. We coming back. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711 and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. My advice to young people, if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it, don't give up. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to, you said what, daylight. By the way, how y'all coping with daylight savings times? I tell you, 7 o'clock this evening, it was bright as the sun. And you know, that's the good part. But boy, I tell you, many people are still dragging and trying to adjust to it. But hey, it's good to have you along this evening. Welcome, let's continue. Countries making up the Caribbean continue to defy the odds. For example, Grenada, that suffered a devastating hurricane last year. Well, the Caribbean Focus Lifestyle Organization last week highlighted the most outstanding leaders of the Caribbean who are leading with a vision to move their countries forward in a fast-paced world. Well, guess what? The organization named Prime Minister Davis among the region's top 5 prime ministers. Take a look.
As 2025 unfolds, the Caribbean continues to stand tall as a global symbol of resilience, innovation, and visionary leadership. In a world facing rapid change, the region's political leaders have once again proven their ability to navigate challenges and seize opportunities, driving transformative progress on both local and international stages. From spearheading climate resilience initiatives to fostering economic growth and social equity, these leaders are redefining the future of their nations and the world. In this video, we count down the top 5 Caribbean political leaders for 2025, celebrating their remarkable achievements in governance, diplomacy, and policy innovation. Next at number 4, we have Prime Minister Philip Davis of the Bahamas. Another leader who has navigated his country through some major challenges in 2023 to economic success. Prime Minister Philip Davis has demonstrated steadfast leadership by implementing policies to enhance social welfare and advance climate resilience. On top of that, this year, the Bahamas saw some of the region's most substantial economic growth. Bolstered by tourism, the country welcomed record-breaking passenger numbers of 5.6 million in 2024, just to the Nassau cruise port, fueling future expansion ideas for the Bahamas. On the international stage, Prime Minister Davis has continued to advocate for climate justice, emphasizing the unique challenges faced by small island developing states, SIDS, and calling for global action to address climate change. The country joins growing trends of debt for climate swaps, where countries promise better protection of precious ecosystems in return for reducing their debts. This step is set to improve the country's marine parks and protected areas network. In his address to the United Nations General Assembly this year, it is no surprise that the Prime Minister highlighted the disproportionate impact of climate change on small island developing states, SIDS, calling for urgent action to address rising sea levels, extreme weather, and environmental degradation.
That is a nice feature on all 5 of the most outstanding leaders in the region. As you saw, Prime Minister Davis at the top 5. I haven't seen it anywhere locally. That was sent to me late last evening, and I thought to say, let's talk about that. Gentlemen, you all saw that Prime Minister Davis, among a good bunch of people in the region, people who that organization is describing as leaders who are leading with a vision to bring their nations that they govern in step with where the world is now headed. This fast moving, quick, just everything just happening so quickly in the world, and we must keep up, and they are saying that these leaders are doing just that. Your thoughts on the fact that the Bahamas and Prime Minister Davis was recognized and highlighted?
Absolutely. Shanique, I think Prime Minister Davis, upon coming to office, he took a sprint around the world with his push for climate change, for people to face the fact of the threat of climate change. Some people kind of didn't follow that too strong, but I think he was very deliberate about it, and the world heard him. He made his mark on the world stage in the fight for climate change, and also he talked about reparations, and the world heard him for it, and his leadership. They talk about the policies that he put in place to bolster the economy. They talk about the record number of tourists. Hopefully, though, we can get some of these tourists more into, especially the cruise tourists, to spend more. And hopefully we can get some more room, so that inventory, so that we can be able to take advantage of the more tourists that wants to come into the Bahamas. But yes, Prime Minister Davis has done a tremendous job as it relates to the bigger picture of governance. There's a number of things that, as it relates to Bahamian wants to see now that would touch their lives directly. Some of the things that he's been doing with the Afro, XM Bank and stuff, hopefully all of that within this year and next year to come, begin to come to bear some fruits. We've seen the delegation that he's had here from Africa a few months ago. And so Bahamians are just waiting now to start being able to taste the fruits of all of these things. But yet he's done some transformational things as it relates to government here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
You know, Mr. Davis should be congratulated for the job that he's done in the short 3.5 years that he's been at the helm. When you consider the fact where our country was after COVID, on the helm Bahamians were catching, especially the average, ordinary Bahamian, who had to go and get food from people of a different color. And some $25 million is still not accounted for yet. And he had to go and bring all of that back and get the country back on the proper financial footing. And then challenge the Grand Bahama Port Authority with funds that were overdue, according to reports. You know, he has stood to the plate and demand that Bahamians are treated equally and fairly in our country. But that's because of his love for the Bahamian people, and that's his greatest asset. I always tell him that, his love, and by virtue of the love that they have for him. Because as we go door to door from constituency to constituency, there's this affection that most people, especially the women, have for Mr. Davis, that he's an easygoing person, he's accessible, he's always hardworking, and he always has the Bahamian people at the center of his mandate in governing. So to be congratulated for, he's done a wonderful job, and there's a lot more to come.
Absolutely.
In short order.
Well, I really thought that piece was quite interesting,
Very interesting.
For us to take a look at, and you know, again.
And we salute you on that achievement, sir.
The top 5 most outstanding leaders in the region. But listen, you all, with the political climate heating up, more aspirants for the Free National Movement are hoping to get the official nod. Among them is former Member of Parliament for the Maikal constituency, Miriam Emanuel.
That's the mathematician, eh?
The who?
The mathematician.
Dr. Nicholas Fox. Dr. Nicholas Fox, a hopeful to secure the Fox Hill seat, declared that, keep rolling you all, declared that he would be the next MP for Fox Hill, telling attendees at the event to put that in their pipe and smoke it. As for Emmanuel, she also reaffirmed her intentions. Take a look.
She's heading back to...
Candidate for the Free National Movement. My name is Miriam Gregory Emmanuel. I don't like to lose. I don't like losing. I ain't planning on losing. I plan to bring whatever God had for me to do. Bring it and
Amen. There's everyone there. Of course, Miriam Emanuel, Dr. Nicholas Fox, who was next to her, and a few others. So while political pundits say that the video suggests that the FNM will have to make some tough decisions on candidate selections, opposition leader Michael Pintard says his party, there it is, that's Dr. Fox speaking right now, he says that his party remains poised as the candidacy process remains underway, adding that executives will put together a strong team to go up against the governing Progressive Liberal Party with hopes of kicking them out of office.
It's going well. I haven't seen the video, but I understand the event was well attended. And so we're very proud of the work that the outstanding women of the Free National Movement are carrying out. We expect any number of them to be selected as candidates. Clearly, from what I've heard from the candidates committee, the executive of the party, from in council, they are impressed with the cadre of women that are offering, and so we're optimistic. Citizens can sense that this government has lost the support of the population, more and more persons continue to sign up. We just have to continue to do the work of sharing our vision for the country so that their disillusionment with the government translate into their confidence being built in us. And that's the job we have to do. And every day we are sharing our message. We are holding the government accountable in order to inspire confidence in the Bahamian people. And so we want them to trust us. We're not going to behave like this crew, and we'll be better than what we were the last time we were in office.
And so there you all see, that was, of course, an event this weekend. There were several other hopefuls there as well. I think for Eleuthera, Central and South Eleuthera, and a number of other areas here in New Providence. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Well, I think Mr. Pintard has been working in the background, and now we've heard him talk about the classes and the sessions that they were doing for the new candidates. Obviously, these persons have went through those classes. And Pintard is showing that he's ready to go to battle. He's battle ready, and he's getting his soldiers lined up to go forward, to go head up with the Progressive Liberal Party. The Progressive Liberal Party has been waiting for him because, for the most part, there's going to be a returning of the majority of their candidates. And so he's got Miriam Emanuel. She says she's ready. She's not prepared to lose. And so this is going to be a fight for the Progressive Liberal Party. It's not going to be an easy one. I can tell you, once the Free National Movement would have rolled out all of their candidates and start to get the campaign going, it's going to be a challenge going forward. And the Progressive Liberal Party has got to be firing on all cylinders to continue to fight against the Free National Movement.
Well, they had their rollout over the weekend. You know, I expect that not too many members of Parliament will be shaking in their boots. But what they have seen so far, the mathematician is back. She's now trying to go down in tall pines over there, Southern Shores, one of those areas, fighting with the other ladies. So we see what happens there.
Oh, that's an all-woman battle.
All-woman battle.
Shaping up to be, shaping. Oh, no, that's all within the FNM,
Yeah, all for the FNM.
I thought it was all.
We should see what the Bahamian people decide. They know
the hopefuls.
The virtue of what they have to do leading up to the next election. They know what hell they caught the last 5 years. And they know that all those persons who were fired in the first month of the FNM taking office, especially those at NIB, some 500 persons. I was a part of that when they were hired. And within a month they were fired. I don't know where they are now. They're scattered all over the country. It's going to be interesting to see what programs and initiative they pretend to come with in this next election. Is going to make
Well, how easy is their work in Southern Shores? Because what has Leroy Major done in this?
Mind you, he, be honest, we were down there just 2 weeks ago. Spent a few days in there. You either like him or you hate him. In between, he's a pretty decent fella.
So are you saying that all the pushback against him was just just being mischievous for no reason, or
not even mischievous. I mean, everybody looking right now to hustle a seat, eh? So if you ever slip, you're gone. And that's what politics is about. One slide and fella take you out, and the woman take you out.
I want to talk about
the array of candidates at the PLP probably come. I expect most of the current MPs to run again. That's for sure. At least 90% of them.
Well, are they worthwhile? We can talk about these MPs. We can talk about what the FNM is putting up and offering. But listen, take a look at these photos. That's what I'm talking about. They show Dame Marguerite Pindling and other outstanding women in the Killarney constituency on Saturday. Area MP Dr. Hubert Minnis hosted the event to mark International Women's Day, taking out time to acknowledge the work of the likes of Dame Marguerite and others. You see there, nicely decorated room and really just looks quite impressive. A powerful flex by Dr. Minnis, who showed that he's still very much in charge in the Killarney constituency, but also that he is the MP for all residents in the area. Gentlemen, your thoughts about how Dr. Minnis showed out. You see even the Commissioner of Police, his wife there, everyone looking quite stunning. And it just, I mean, he has the media there. It looked like the event was well planned and executed. And then again for the women who were just obviously highlighted and acknowledged for their work.
I can tell you, former Prime Minister Minnis is reasserting himself in Killarney. I told people over and before that Killarney is Minnis town. Killarney is more Minnis than FNM. So it remains to be seen. Minnis is reasserting himself. I heard him today in Parliament. He's putting forth questions to the government, and so Minnis is not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, I think Kalani is going to be a Menace column, and hopefully the F&M still has Menace in their column, and then they'll be doing good with that.
You know, again, I repeat of how thoughtless and baseless it is that a man who's just been the Prime Minister of our country 4.5 years ago, after now hustled for a nomination, that could only be done under a leader who really could care less about the thoughts and views of the people, even those who has gone with Dr. Menace over the last 4 elections, and to continue to have faith in his leadership of his constituency, but he's not going to get a nomination. Not as long as...
Man, you saying that can't be true. What do you mean he ain't getting a nomination, Leslie?
I can tell you what.
We really have to revisit this.
At the end of the day, he's going to be the member of parliament for Kalani. Yeah. Nomination or no nomination.
It ain't going to be by Pintard putting him there. I'll tell you that.
Pintard ain't that.
Pintard won no part.
You all think Pintard
I think Pintard knows better than that, not to nominate Dr. Menace.
So he can do better.
I'm sure of that.
Well, I'll tell you this. This weekend, Dr. Menace showed up. He took off his shirt. He was buffed with 6-pack. And he said, hey, dude, check me out. That's not that flex was. That's the level of that flex.
He took him on.
He said, excuse me, you do this. That's what I do. I said, you come do this. That's what it said. Yes. Listen, I thank you both very, very much. When we come back, we are going to speak with Kyle Wilson, president of BEWU. Kyle Wilson is here to really talk about something historic that happened late Friday, that benefits all his members at BPL. We talk about that right after this.
International events and production, Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where you see Saturday the 29th of March.
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Addy the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flair or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1-242-808-2369.
I remember Cartel I got it.
Island Luck Sportsbook is taking you to the NBA playoffs. That's right. Every $20 bet placed between February 24th and April 1st earns you an entry to win an all-expense-paid trip to an NBA playoff game. Imagine being in the stands, feeling the energy, and watching your favorite team battle for a championship. The more you bet, the more chances you have to win. So don't miss out. Place your bets now at Island Luck Sportsbook and get ready for the experience of a lifetime. Weekly drawings every Tuesday at 3 p.m. starting March 4th. Visit islandluck.com/sports for more details. Who's ready to fly off to the NBA playoffs?
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all continuing to tune in. I hope you're enjoying tonight's show. Listen, we're getting to and through a lot just for you. Well, let's move along, you all. BEWU President Kyle Wilson is here this evening, and he often comes by to complain about industrially what's happening, what's going on at BPL, how for the longest while he was ignored, was not able to properly represent his membership, the line staff at BPL, because management was very hostile with him. Well, the last time he was here, he came bragging and boasting. Over the weekend, I had an opportunity to speak with Wilson, who talked about something that is quite unheard of, and that is a new set of provisions for his membership, particularly when it comes to insurance provisions. We know how difficult it is to get dental and vision coverage. Well, guess what? That's now a reality at BPL among the line staff. Really, really great news. I'll tell you that. We know how important it is to stay on top of those things. And so a much needed provision, Kyle, that you have been lobbying for, other presidents before you have lobbied for decades. But now it's a reality. Good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Good evening to all the fine members of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union. And, a happy belated Women's Day to you and all the fine, hard-working women. You're the #1 talk show host in the company, and you're a woman. And so, happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you so much. Listen, the women of the BEWU should be quite happy and smiling. The women who walk through BPL every day and look to you for leadership and for provisions and for just more, because there's just so much more being demanded of them and by leadership on them. And so now to come out with this, tell us about what took place for the very first time after years and years and years of pushing for it, what officially took place on Friday.
Well, Shanique, let me start by saying in recognition of Women's Day, I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his wisdom in placing Ms. Jobette Colby Davis as the Minister of Energy with preview of BPL, and by down ticket, by making the right choice and placing Ms. Tony Seymour as the CEO of BPL. And these have been giving nothing but dividends to the country, dividends to the membership, dividends to Bahamian people who could feel the effects of the great leadership. And I am happy.
So these two women have been very friendly with the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union.
Very, very instrumental. Shanique, let me just tell you, as we speak about the benefit that would have been announced Friday. It was a little more than a year ago. I would have been speaking with the minister, speaking with the CEO, speaking with the Prime Minister, asking them to add an additional benefit to our insurance, which is the vision and dental. This is almost 40 years looking at union records and letters that have been written, and they've always been denied. And I pressured the minister, and one day she said, okay, let's get together, let's bring the issues, let's work. So you had Minister Colby Davis, and you have then now CEO, Ms. Tony Seymour, myself, and Bishop Strawn, and we sat together. And I mean, the entire day, and we hammered it out. And every second, Jobette would pick up her phone and she would walk out, and then she would come back and she's like, "Oh, that's a tough one, guy." And he'd say, "This and that." And I'd say, "No, man."
Yeah, and listen, group insurance doesn't usually cover vision and dental.
Yeah.
I mean, people have to pay extra, pay out of pocket for those things, and they are quite expensive.
Yes, and with BPL, we have one of the premier companies that's almost a very worldwide recognized and very expensive, I guess, coverage. And so to add to it was a bit much, but I kept pressing and I kept pressing, and in all honesty, Minister Colby Davis, she did really, really work with me, and so did the CEO, Tony Seymour, and we sat there the whole day, and she would go out and she would walk back in and she would try to get the Prime Minister on the phone.
So you witnessed this lobbying happening right in front of your eyes.
And so in reality, right, I've worked with a lot of men ministers, And they've been good, but I would say as a female, she's really been exceptional because she could say, Kyle, no. But she really kept trying with me, and then she would call him back. And so it just so happened that the last time she called him, the Prime Minister was on a plane about to take off, right? And so she's like, I said, so I kept pressing. So she brought the phone back and put it on speaker. And I started to speak with him, and he's like, Kyle, oh man, you're putting too much pressure, man.
You kind of sound like him.
Yeah, so you know, I keep wrestling. So he said, I say, Prime Minister, meet me here. And he said, no, I could only meet you as far as this point. And Tony Seymour, she'd go to the computer and she would start checking the balances and to see what they could afford. And I would come back. And I just said, so at one point, Dr. Strawn said, hold on. He said, Prime Minister, let me speak to you. Bishop Apostle Nelson Strawn. He said, Prime Minister, let me speak to you. And he said, give it to the people. And the Prime Minister said, okay, I'll give it to them. And this goes to show sometimes when people see me speak about God or talk about God or how he's godly people, the man of God stepped in and he said, Prime Minister, give it to them. And he said, okay. And so I would just like to recognize him as an unsung hero in this situation who took control and spoke direct to the Prime Minister. You know, I'm more coming from an argumentative union guy, but he came from a religious, heart-touching point. And he said, the Prime Minister heeded. The Bible says the heart of the king is in the hands of God, and he'll turn it as he sees fit. But I just want to herald Jobette Colby for kept trying with me. I see a lot of people don't know about this. I want to herald Tony Seymour for keep trying with me. And this is when you talk about the tripartite system, when you have all parties coming together, right? Because that benefit isn't for Kyle Wilson, you know. That benefit is for all the BPL employees and
Kyle,
all the future employees that are coming into BPL.
And I want to commend you for picking up the baton from former union presidents before you and saying, man, I'm going to keep pushing for this provision, because that's super important. We can look around at many of the state of our mouths here in the Bahamas, and obviously dental health is lacking because it's expensive. I mean, many of us would like so much more done. You know, and then not just that, but also our visual health. It's again very important. You don't find insurance covering these things in the group format.
Yeah, and so I really want to thank the Prime Minister. I really want to thank the Honorable Jobette Colby. And you know what? Not just for making a good decision, but for making the right decision, even in putting the Seymour as the head of the company, as the CEO, because she has been making breakthroughs. And one of the things that she even brought forth is the reemergence of giving scholarships to employees. So persons who would have come in, like let's say as an example, I'm going to call him, his name is Mr. Sterling, I can't remember his last name, but he was one of the directors, right? Sterling Moss. And he came into BPL as an APO, and as a guy who was just cleaning the engines, taking records. But he was able to get one of those in-service awards and was able to take him to England. He became a director. So what I'm saying is we now have the motive now in BPL to take our own and send them away, or even here locally, she's saying we could find a local institution, they're going to fully cover you and give you an in-service award, and they're going to give to 4 persons virtually every year. And so these are the things that have been happening.
So how is morale? We'll talk about the benefit and how you see this benefiting your members, that new provision in addition to the insurance. But let's just talk about that. The fact that they are sort of sorting through the staff at BPL and saying, you are deserving, come forth, and let's help get you to another level.
It's not that I want to blow a horn or toot a whistle constantly, right? But Minister Colby and Tony Seymour, I call her Seymour 21st century visionary leader, right? Because she came up through the ranks, she knows the people, and she can see what BPL needs to, I guess, advance. And on Saturday, I met this gentleman. I just ran into him by mistake, and he was just praising the work that is happening in BPL. And I called the minister, and I let her hear firsthand of what this gentleman is saying about what's going on in BPL. They could now see.
So BPL is no longer this organization that's teetering on you know, about to take strike or about to do this and do that. Or still is some issues outstanding.
You know, I'm always a man of action, right? Like I said, I'm never scared. I'm always willing to take on the challenge. But you know, really and truly, these women, and that's why I say I have to herald them, these women, they've come in and they've made a difference. Minister Colby said, Kyle, I ain't gonna let you get out there. I can deal with you before you get out there. We can come to a compromise. Tony Seymour is like, before you go anywhere, you stop to my office. I don't care how busy I is, I will make time to hear your matter. You don't have to go to no, come to me. We will fix it. And so that is a breath of fresh air, man, that I don't have to be running up and down, beating up the pavement, right? The Bahamian people do not have to be disenfranchised, one if they like and be off, man. you see the benefits of what working in a proper
yes.
industrialized environment and respect for union brings.
Yes.
Because now the workers are saying, hey, we are respected. The company's believing in us. They're giving us those extra benefits. And I'm saying to the workers, go there and give them an extra effort as well. Because I'm going to continue to agitate
overall
for these
there's
benefits.
profitability. And that's good. Talk about your membership and their response to having listen to me, dental coverage and vision coverage. Just talk about their response. Or if you announced it as yet, because I know it happened late Friday.
Yes, Friday. Ms. Seymour announced it, along with the scholarships and along with the other initiatives that come. And there's still more announcements and things to come. But what I'm saying here, Shanique, is there was a lot of like concern around BPL with a lot of things and issues that are happening,
job security,
right? and all of that stuff. And people out there have a lot of concern. But if you could hear the energy, the rousing applause, and the excitement of the people that say, hey, someone is listening. If they could hear us there, they could hear us over there. And so I am glad to see that we have leaders that are listening, listening to the workers and are giving the workers what they need. And so I hope even with these transitions that we continue to listen to the workers. And the minister is doing her listening tours along with myself and the CEO, and she's going directly to the concern of the persons. Will you please everybody? No. But at least she's willing to confront the issue. She's not hiding away from it.
The majority are happy
she's coming in here.
and feeling
but so
as
far
though,
the majority, and what I see right now, even I spoke to Minister Glover, and we spoke at length the other day, and she's given me assurances as to whenever you need a shoulder, Kyle, come to me. And so these people are working, and guess what? They're all women. That's the shock and surprise. Man, guys, y'all got to step up because we soon have a woman prime minister. It seems like that's the path we're on. But when you look at, we have a woman police commissioner. Right? So women, there's no longer a glass ceiling.
Stick to your union business.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But really and truly, man, Shanique, I just want to herald Apostle Strawn for stepping in. Sometimes the workers don't know what you go through to get to. I want to thank Minister Colby Davis for sticking with me. She could have walked off that day and leave, but she kept trying. I want to thank Tony Seymour for keep pushing and keep working with it. And I want to thank the members that encourage me every day to go out there and give my best effort. You can't please everyone, but what you do is try to please God. You always work towards Him. And I always tell you, Jeremiah 1:19, they'll fight against thee, they'll not prevail against thee, for I am with thee, says the Lord, to deliver thee. Amen.
I see an apostle happening after this union presidency. I just see that. I see a little prophet shaping.
Yeah, man. It's a good time. It's a good feeling, man. 40 years, almost a generation, we tried to get that benefit, and it's here, man. So hats off to everybody that made it happen.
On getting people to the dentist, that they just pay a fraction, that alone you are to be commended. No, that's
so next time you see me, I'm going to have a big row of pearly white teeth and some fancy
Get them veneers. Get them veneers. That's all I'm saying. Get them veneers. Add me to the insurance, please. Listen, I thank you very, very much. Congratulations. Really, it's good news. And I'm happy that you come and you talk about what's going on, and you also come and talk about the good news and the wins that's happening at BPL for your membership. And so that's great. Continue doing the awesome job, Kyle Wilson. Thank you once again. I want to thank, of course, at the top of tonight's show, my Hot Topics panel, the contributors here, Leslie Miller and Ellington Ferguson. Of course, Kyle Wilson, president of the BEWU. Thank you as well. And to all of you this evening watching all over the country, thank you so much. Thank you for saying so. Thank you for even messaging during the show and participating that way. I do appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.